This is the Hidden Killers Podcast with Tony Brueski.
Featuring defense attorney, Hidden Killers daily contributor, and host of the Defense Diaries podcast, Bob Motta.
Let's talk about another aspect of the Rex Heuermann world. That would be his wife, who is still there. She did file for divorce, but has not gotten an emergency divorce. They are still married. She now has 50 Cent's G-Unit production team following her around for an upcoming Peacock documentary. I've always found her to be a rather interesting character. Obviously, she's never been very empathetic to any of the victims. And from what we know right now, she's a victim as well of being the wife of this man. We don't know exactly what she knew or when she knew it. I think that's a very big question that should be up for debate. But is this a good look to be having a documentary crew follow you around while your husband is on trial for being the Long Island serial killer? And you have not been charged with anything yet. I don't know. I think I'd be treading really lightly right now, because even if you didn't do anything, it wouldn't be a far stretch to get charged with something and then have to prove that's not accurate.
Yeah, I think it's a terrible look as well. I think that what I had tweeted to my buddy, Joe Jackalone, who's former NYPD detective, and he's knee deep into the List case, obviously, in Gilgo. And, he was talking about this. And I was like, well, if I were her attorney, I'd say, hey, why don't you sit down and watch The Jinx on HBO
Yes.
to just see how wrong this thing can go, because if she is under the impression that the documentarians have any other motive other than to try to link her, this is not going to be a sympathy piece. They are trying to dig in. They are trying to crack the case. They are trying to show that she had knowledge and or was complicit.
Yes.
And I think it's an awful idea, especially in we haven't talked about this case in a minute, but they just found, and we don't know if it's the hair.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't specify the DNA that they found on one of the victims. Now we know that they found one of her hairs.
We knew that.
Was listed.
We've known that for a long time, but yes.
Right. But this new thing is different. If it's biological,
mm-hmm.
it's a problem for her. How do you explain that away? A hair is way easier to explain than saliva or some kind of other bodily fluid or blood, any of those things. If any of those are found on the victim, how do you explain that?
Well, it reads to me almost, I don't know. She, again, not someone who seems to make the best of decisions when we're talking about Asa Ellerup, if we just look at her path and track in life. So I'm not assuming that she's going to make great decisions in this venue either. But it reads to me almost like so extreme. Sometimes when your kids do something wrong, they're going to really go the other direction of whoa, you're suddenly a really wonderful, you knew nothing wrong child. You're getting me breakfast in bed and doing all this, going way to an extreme.
Right.
When you have a documentary crew following you around talking about, in her mind, her innocence, I think her mind, she's thinking she's going to steer this some other direction. That's at least how I'm reading it. Obviously, she's not been charged with anything, but it seems like a very extreme response.
I agree.
Yeah,
completely. And that's what I'm saying. She's misinterpreting that. She's not reading the room, because that's not what they're going to be doing. I can just envision what this pitch meeting was like,
mm-hmm.
and because they had to get the production company, they had to get Peacock to pony up the dough to pay her. And this pitch meeting was, I guarantee it wasn't oh, we want to follow her around and show that she's a victim in all this, all the other victims, but different. What they're saying is, we're going to get her. She's going to slip up. This will be the best $1 million you ever spent, because you're going to get another Robert Durst. You're going to get a Jinx. She is going to say something and just completely screw herself.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you that's what this pitch meeting is about. And that's what they're trying to do. I have zero doubt about it. That's what I'd be trying to do.
Oh, yeah.
If I was a documentarian and I had access to her, I would be digging.
And if you're an investigator right now on this case, because I question, why have they not questioned Asa Ellerup? Because according to all accounts, including her attorney, saying, no, the police have never sat down and talked to her. That means they're sitting there waiting. They're letting her hang herself. And if you have this documentary crew that goes in, it's over. I mean, they're going to get so much more out of the B-roll, out of the cuts that don't even make it to the screen, that will likely be incriminating to her or more incriminating to Rex, one of the two or both, that it'll be far more than they'd ever get in an interrogation room.
Oh, 100%. And believe me, like as soon as filming, if it hasn't already started, which I'm sure that it has, the state is absolutely going to be trying to subpoena all of the filming, all of everything that's been recorded. They're going to be asking the court for them to force them to turn it over, and Peacock's going to battle it. And, we'll see where that thing lands, but I guarantee you that they're going to be making a move to get all of that. There's no question in my mind about it, especially in light of this new DNA thing. It's like, I frankly was very surprised that more wasn't made of that.
Well, I think a lot of people are interpreting it as the hair, but we've already had the hair. These are the hair.
Why would they? Right. That doesn't make any sense.
That was, yeah.
That was in the first thing. We knew about that. Like, why would they come and like restate it again? No, it's different. It's got to be something. Could it be another hair? Maybe. But could it be something else? Maybe. Yeah. Like I agree with you, man. I don't think it's the same hair that we were made aware of initially. I think it's something different. Yeah. To the point where they actually, put it out there to the public that, like, we found her DNA.
I think the walls are slowly closing in on Asa Ellerup. Again, innocent till proven guilty. No charges as of this moment, but the optics aren't good.
Not good. Bad optics, Tony. Bad optics.
Want to listen ad-free? Want advanced access to all of our interviews before anyone else?
Become a True Crime Today Premium Plus subscriber on Apple Podcasts.
You get every episode commercial-free,
so you can binge on true crime
until you can binge no more.
Search True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts now, or go to our podcast page and sign up now.
More of the Hidden Killers podcast next.